Hello there everyone and welcome to bitparade.co.uk's look at Mantis Burn Racing. Now this is the PS4 version of the game and it is just a normal PS4, it's not PS4 Pro or anything like that, so we're not playing it at 4K there's no... I've not got HDR lighting or anything on my TV, but it is something I'm going to mention a little later on. So as you can see, it's a top-down racer. There was a Motorstorm game that was similar not too long ago. I should just say as well, before we start, I'm capturing this just using the PS4's capture because it's easier. The game is really smooth, like really smooth. It's 60 frames a second and you can kind of feel it, and it helps. If you look at the track, it's very sort of dusty and sandy, and it really helps with that. It really helps feel not spongy, but like there's give in the track. There's a fluid sort of feel to everything. It really helps with that. Possibly as well. I mean, like, it's a solid frame rate, or it seems it anyway so far. And granted, it's not doing huge amounts. It's a nice enough looking game, but it's not anything amazing. Yeah, so we sort of caught the end of an event there. So I'm just going to, like I say, I captured sort of 15 minutes, just going to talk over some of it. So it's, without being too dismissive, it's Mantis Burn Racing is built a little like a mobile game in that you kind of have this very sort of it's a progression. It's not as or so far it's not been grindy in any way, but you need to collect gears, which you do by completing challenges. Winning the race will most of the time be what gets you 3 gears, but it may also be that you need to, say, destroy 10 items, which will be like boards along the side, or wooden barricades, stuff like that. Or you need to do a jump of over 15 meters, or a drift of in total of 1,000, or win a lap or something. And it could be all sorts of stuff. And that's kind of what the game is. Well, sorry, it's not just what the game is, but you get these cars. The cars are from a weight class. You should see this later in the video, where I max out what I can do with this car in terms of putting stuff in the slots, and so then I can level it up, which adds more slots. So if you want to improve your car, you need to get items for the car, which is stuff like engine parts and things like that, and then you add them to the slots, and that will speed up the car and improve the traction if you get tyres, and improve your boost. So I've finished the first world. I've done a couple of other things as well. There's a weekly challenge aspect, which I did. It's a very heavy truck that you get to use, and it's the point of the challenge this week was to drive as far as possible. So you have 8 minutes, but you get 3 seconds for each checkpoint that you pass. So you can keep going for longer than 8 minutes, and the point is to get as far as possible. I think I'm maybe 18th in the world at the minute, but I think that may be because we got the code today. By the time I installed it and everything, I've had an hour or so with the game, or a couple of hours with the game. I imagine other people are probably in a similar sort of boat, so maybe not too many people have played it. You see, the race is fairly quick. Depends on the race. Some of them, the race events are stuff like, some of them it's just a straight race, it's 3 laps or 2 laps, and the point is to win. Some of them it's a time trial where you race against your ghost, or a ghost, and here you can see the sort of progression. So I'm close to earning a boost, and I think vehicle must have been that 7 thing, I'm not entirely sure. But I've unlocked, there was an item in the middle of this square where I am now, that was an engine part, which I've got, but I don't know that I equipped it because I didn't know what was coming up next, and I wasn't struggling, so I didn't want to keep adding stuff to the car and then find out that I got a new car and really I could do with some parts for that. So we're in the final part really. So you can see there 30 gears just in green there, and I've got 31, so that's how it gates you. You need to go back and just improve. I wish that, and again this is based on not a lot of time with the game, I wish some of this stuff was more up front, you could see sort of gears 1, 0 of 6 on the left hand side. If you click on it, it'll tell you, if say you've got 5 of 6 or something like that, it'll tell you which one you've not got. It doesn't tell you where you are. When you start a race, it'll tell you where you are in terms of world ranking and stuff like that. I wish that stuff was presented up front as well, so you could have your friends' times, or where you know, if you were say 300th in the world or 320th, but it had sort of there's 18th and 17th, so you kind of go, right, okay, I'm not, you know, I'm pretty much the same as this person. If I just go on now, I can improve. So here you go. Well, just missed it, but I had win event and stuff like that as the gears things. So there is a different car as well. It's a lighter car that's very, very fast. A little hard to control, so I'm not too keen on playing it. But I haven't spent a lot of time with it, and I sort of thought the game, when it introduced it, it might just force you to spend time with it. And because since that race, I haven't spent any time with it. Yeah, so this is a change of track as well. I like this track. It's concrete, and you do kind of feel the difference. As you see, lap times on the right hand side there. So I don't have a lap time in this at the minute. I'm not entirely sure what my lap time was in the end, but I'm not number one on anything. I think spending time leveling up the cars, or improving the cars, will help. So you can see that, I'll explain the races, how they work, I guess. So you can see there it says like great drift 10 XP. I think the only way the XP is matter, or sort of the only way it matters is, I might be wrong on this, but you see the green flame in the bottom right, that is your boost. You need to max that out before you can use it. The way to max it out is to do things during the race that get you XP. So a good boost, great drift there, will get you 10. So if I could use it and I'd start topping it up. Yeah, so that's how you do it. The thing most notable about the races for me is how quiet they are. So it's got the music, and that's quite loud, and there's very little engine noise, and there is a ping when your boost is full. That could maybe be a bit more noticeable, and then you've got engine noises and like I say, brakes, and you've got drifts or squeaking of brakes. There's little bits there, but it could just be a bit more upfront. And I think, like I say, that when I refer to it as being like a mobile game, I didn't mean it too disparagingly, but it's that sort of thing where you simply can't spend the time on a mobile game. You can't. It's not worth it. You don't have that sort of team that could spend huge amounts of time with sound, making sure it all matters and it's all balanced right and everything. It's a little harder to do. You don't have the budget, but you see, it's something that I think makes the game feel meatier, I think, because everything else about the presentation, not everything else about the presentation, like I say, some of the track times and things like that, I wish they were a bit more upfront, but in terms of look and feel and stuff, it's great. I quite like some of the designs of the track as well. Like I say, really, if that's a mess that corner up, really drift heavy. And yeah, which is why the big truck thing that I got to drive was a little bit of a surprise, because it just doesn't really drift at all, and it feels like so much of the game is about that. It made me wonder why you would want to play something that heavy, because it just feels counter to what the game is. So we'll take one more look at another race, I think. So you can see I'm leveling up here. So we got the boost upgrade, and I don't think I got that, but so yeah, I can go and do the final race if I want to, but there's another event. So as you can see, if I go left there, maybe you won't see it. So yeah, we can do what race time less than 3 minutes 50 would get me some stars. Win the race will get me another jump further than 45 meters, gets me over. So that's the other car. So maybe I did race in this one as well. Yeah. So again, the stuff like the loading bar, I don't know if that's just because the game isn't technically out yet, and the load times aren't great, but then I don't know. Like I say, this feels like a time where it could come up with the lap times, just something for you to look at. But I don't know if if it's too late to add any of that stuff. But that's something I'd change. Like I say, you can see there I'm 23rd in the world. I think I beat that time on this one, but I've no idea where I rank now. And that's the problem, is you have to go back into the level, or sorry, into the race, into the track to see where you rank. So I will almost certainly mess this up. This is a very, like I say, very drift heavy car, this one, very light. But you do get quite a lot of control, but you can lose quite a lot of speed by going completely sideways. Clip that, is very tight, that corner. I think I nail it on the third track though. Third lap, sorry. But yeah, this is an area where I think the HDR would be quite useful, because it's gone from quite a bright track to sort of dark, and it's maybe a little hard to pick yourself out. But with the HDR, I think that'd really make the most of it. I probably won't find out anytime soon. Maybe I'll treat myself to a new TV. Feels like if I nailed this, you could have a huge drift on that part, and that's what I mean. There's certain bits where you sort of start to feel like initially you maybe didn't have enough control, and then later on you start to see that, oh no, actually now I can control the drifts and can, you know, I've got the technique down. You can start feeling how you can manipulate the tracks more. There are shortcuts and things as well that you can smash through. They've blocked it on this for some reason, but there are, like in the race version, there's a reverse race of this, and you can cut through. So yeah, come and visit us at bitparade.co.uk. This has been Mantis Burn Racing. It's just a preview at the first place, so if it is a bit rough around the edges, not exactly high skill, bear with us. We might do another video, but probably not. I'm not too sure if there's a need for one. But there will be a full review in the next few days, and I'll link to it under this video once it's up. So yeah, thanks for watching.